Hey boys, it's Arm9. Today we're going to be going over the 10 best ways to make money as a solo player in Grand Theft Auto Online after the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC has come out. Now with this DLC, we have yet another new business in Grand Theft Auto Online, so I thought it was a good time to update my top 10 best ways to earn money as a solo player in GTA Online. There have also been some slight nerfs to other businesses, as well as there have been some pretty major improvements to other businesses. If you enjoyed the video, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Let's go for 50,000 likes in this video, just because why not? If we could hit that, that'd be crazy. Consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. I'm trying to hit 300,000 subscribers this year, and I need your help to do so. So if you enjoy this, consider subscribing. Let's go ahead and start off with number 10. With the release of the new Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC in GTA Online, we have got a new business, the bail enforcement business. Now, for this business to make money, it is almost entirely dependent on you putting time into the business, meaning that you have to do all of the bounties in order to make significant money. There's one high value target per real life day, as well as 3 lower value targets that get replaced every in-game day as well. The high value target will pay roughly $130,000 for capturing them, while the lower value targets are typically valued at around $40,000. This can range, maybe $35,000 to $45,000 depending on the target and the mission that goes along with it. However, if you do kill the bounty target, the payout will be next to nothing, so do keep this in mind and make sure to bring them in alive. There is one more way to make money with this business, and that is with the bail office workers. They will cost you $750,000 each, and you can have a total of 2 of them. They reduce the processing time for the bounty targets that you bring in yourself. Processing time starts at 24 minutes, then drops to 12 with one worker, and then drops to 6 with both bail office workers. This means that you just get paid sooner after you drop off a bounty target, so it doesn't really matter for this aspect. However, you can also send these workers out to do bounty targets, and when they return after 48 minutes each, they will bring with them a payment ranging from $5,000 to $10,000, and it will be deposited into the safe that is found within the Bottom Dollar Bounties bail enforcement business. Money per hour wise, it's not very good, but if it interests you, I'd say I would recommend trying this business out, and I do think it fits into GTA Online really well. I think it's an interesting business at the least. Just in terms of money per hour, it's not the best, but not everything is about money per hour. At number 9, we have the hangar. The hangar business has had some pretty big and pretty significant changes to it over the last few years, taking it from being one of the worst businesses in the entire game to one that's actually, somewhat worth doing. It's not a bad business overall. With the LS Mercenaries DLC, there's been some big changes to make it a little bit better. You can now operate the business as a ground-based business instead of being heavily reliant on aircraft. And they've also added Rooster, who can passively source you cargo, similar to the CEO crate warehouses. Except he doesn't operate as effectively because air freight cargo works differently, where you have to sell one type of goods at a time, and he will get you a random type of goods. So if you're focusing on one particular type of cargo and he brings you another type, it's gonna cause a few problems. Now, they also have changed things with the Drug Wars DLC, where they tripled the value of air freight cargo crates, making them about $30,000 a piece instead of just $10,000 that they were previous to all the changes. And they also buffed them so that if you sell in bulk with only one type of cargo, you will get a huge bonus for doing so. The sale missions still mostly suck, especially the aerial ones. However, the ground missions are a little bit better. Overall, the hangar is actually a pretty good business in GTA Online as of the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC. It hasn't had any significant changes with this update, or any changes at all really, but it is still a pretty good business, and it is one that I would recommend, just not as much as some of the businesses ahead of it on this list, obviously. At number 8, we have the MC businesses. Now, the MC businesses have been buffed in Grand Theft Auto Online to pay roughly 25% more money ever since the release of the expanded and enhanced version of Grand Theft Auto Online, but with the release of the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC in GTA Online, they've actually allowed us to have 50% more time when we launch sale missions as a solo player. So this is a pretty big improvement for those of us that play solo, which is obviously why I'm talking about it in this video. They've also given us some new sale missions with the previous few updates, which occasionally are pretty good, and you'll only actually have one vehicle with some of them. Unfortunately, you still do run the risk of getting delivery vans or trash trucks as a sale mission, but the chance is lower than before because we have more chances for more different types of missions. Now, the best of all the MC businesses is of course the Coke lockup, followed by the lab, as well as the counterfeit cash factory, then weed, and then of course document forgery. Now, document forgery is not really worth it at all, no matter what. It really sucks as an MC business and just as a business in general. I would avoid it at all costs. I simply do not think it is worth it, and even though it does give you some product in the nightclub basement, you should just sell the nightclub basement once you're full on South American imports anyways. So yeah, just avoid the document forgery business at all costs. It really, really sucks. At number 7, we have the auto shop. The auto shop has a bunch of different ways that you can make money included with the purchase of the business. You can customize customer cars to their liking and deliver them, which you can also hire staff members to do passively, and that has been buffed with some of the last updates to GTA Online, making it so that they actually can make you some good money. You can also run auto shop contracts, which act as sort of a mini heist, and they pay between, I'd say, about 180 to 300, maybe a little bit over $300,000, depending on the contract that you do. And when they go on double or triple money, they are very, very good to do, and they can definitely net you a huge amount of profit, and they don't take very long, only about 20 minutes per, and the better you get at them, the shorter it's going to take. Now, with this business, you also get access to the exotic exports list, which are cars marked by the little blue dots that will pop up on your minimap while you're driving around in Los Santos. You can simply get in these and drive them down to the docks and deliver them for about $20,000. Not too bad. I'd say the worst part about the whole business is Secunda and KDJ because they're just really annoying characters, similar to most characters in GTA Online, to be honest. The absolute worst thing, and really the only thing that's bad about them, is the sound that comes out of their mouths. The words these people speak are just unbelievable, so just ignore that and you'll be totally fine. At number 6, we have CEO Cargo. This does require you to own a CEO office before you can get started, and this business also does take a lot of time and quite a bit of money to make a lot of money with it, but the rewards are very, very worth it. This business has also been changed with the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC to fix a sale mission which previously was impossible to complete, and that was of course the Titan sale, where you're dropping off cargo at a bunch of marked flares on the ground. Sometimes you wouldn't be able to drop the cargo and it would result in a failed sale. However, they have fixed this, so that is very good. Now, within all of your warehouses after the Criminal Enterprises DLC, you now have workers, and you can pay them $7,500 and they will source between 1 to 3 crates of special cargo over the course of 48 minutes. And then you can rinse and repeat this over and over again. And they also have a 1% chance to source a special item, which can be worth about $100,000 by itself. Sale missions range from 1 to 3 vehicles depending on how full your warehouses are, but all of the vehicles are relatively fast and drop-offs aren't typically too far away. And you also have 30 minutes for most of the sale missions with this business. Overall, it's a very easy one to run as a solo player. It just is going to take a while, but once you get it going, you will make a ton of money over the course of owning it. Next up at number 5, we have the Acid Lab. To get the Acid Lab for free, you have to complete the initial 6 last dose missions from the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. Now, once you've completed these, you will steal and drive a Brigade 6x6 to the Freak Shop, where you can then set up your Acid Lab inside of it for $750,000. Then, to unlock the equipment upgrade, you will need to complete 10 Dax Fooligan missions, and in between these, they have a cooldown, which is a super pain in the ass. But once you've done this, for an additional $250K, you'll be able to buy that equipment upgrade. With the equipment upgrade, this business becomes extremely profitable, and it actually becomes one of the best businesses in the entire game. It makes full stock in just 4 hours, and you can also access a boost within the Acid Lab that will double production for half an hour. The payout will be about $335,000, and considering that the resupplies only cost you $60K, this is actually pretty good. And on top of this, you can also name your acid product, and that will net you an additional 5% on the sale total, totaling at about almost $355,000. So the Acid Lab's pretty good, and on top of it, you do get a really good armored vehicle In fact, the Acid Lab is actually the second most armored vehicle in the entire game, which is pretty darn good. But probably the best thing about the Acid Lab is the fact that you will always get a single vehicle sale mission, and the sale missions are usually very easy with the Acid Lab business, so that is an additional bonus. Next up at number 4, we have the Bunker. Now the Bunker takes a lot of money to start up, but once you get it going, it is a really good business to have in GTA Online. And with the release of the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, it has been updated to give you a little bit more time when selling as a solo player, similar to how the MC businesses have also been helped out in that regard. Instead of getting 15 minutes for most of these sale missions now, you get 22.5 minutes, which is very helpful for selling as a solo, especially selling a bunker that has multiple vehicles in the sale mission. There's also one 30-minute sale mission that you can get with the bunker, and this will obviously increase that to a 45-minute sale mission, so that does help a lot. Now the strategy to use the bunker as a solo player is firstly to buy all the upgrades and then buy some supplies. And then you can buy one time and sell. However, with the change that has been done with the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, I would say you could pretty easily supply the bunker twice, if not 3 times, and still get most of the sale missions done within that 22.5 minute time frame. I would honestly advise you to probably just go for 2 supplies and then sell, and then just rinse and repeat that. I don't think it's worth doing 3 supplies necessarily, because if you get 3 dune buggies, you're pretty much cooked. There's almost no way you're going to be able to sell that, even within the new 50% extra time frame that you are going to get with the bunker. The bunker turns a full bar of supplies into money in just 2 hours and 20 minutes. So if you do 2 resupplies, that's going to be 4 hours and 40 minutes, and then sell, and you will make $420,000 for that. It's a pretty good semi-passive business to have, and it does also allow you to unlock bunker research, which you can use to research cool items like the upgrades for the Declassy Weaponized Tampa, for example, or the Insurgent Pickup Custom as well. Definitely a really good business overall, definitely one that I would recommend owning, and definitely make sure to get the farmhouse location because it is by far the best. The Chumash is a good secondary option if you have a little bit less money, but the farmhouse bunker is truly the best location for this business. Next up at number 3, we have the Agency. The Agency is one of truly the best businesses in the entire game. It has 3 main ways of earning money. The first of those being the contract heist with Dr. Dre. You could bang this out in about 1 hour if you're really good, but it's probably going to take the average player about 1.5 hours, at least the first time that you play it, and it will pay you out $1 million for completing it, which is pretty damn good. And it also doesn't have a cooldown, so you can run it back over and over and over again. This is pretty good, and honestly, in my opinion, it almost outperforms the Cayo Perico heist just because of the fact that it has no cooldown. This business also, though, comes with security contracts, which will pay you an upfront amount of money for completing a task. Now, the best ones to do are gang termination, recover valuables, and rescue operation. The rest are kind of long and miserable, but the next best after those is the liquidize assets security contract. These will pay you between $30,000 to maybe $80,000 depending on the contract that you complete, and it is pretty much random as to how much it is going to pay you. Usually gang termination contracts pay a little bit less, usually rescue operations pay a little bit more, but it kind of depends on what the mission itself is going to be. Now also, the amount of security contracts that you've completed tallies up, and the more that you've done, the more money that will come into your safe that is within the agency completely passively. So for example, if you've completed 11 security contracts, you'll get $1,000 into your safe every 48 minutes of real time or every in-game day in GTA Online. If you've completed 101, you will get $10,000 every 48 minutes, and this does max out at 201 security contracts completed, or $20,000 every 48 minutes of real time. Now the safe's capacity is 250k, so with this business, once you got your security contracts completed, it is a very good one to have for AFKing, and you can make a ton of money doing this. And once you've completed your security contracts, don't worry, you can keep doing security contracts because they pay pretty decently, and a lot of the time they are relatively easy missions. Overall, the agency is a great business, definitely one of the very best in the game, and it is one that I would highly recommend owning. At number 2, we have the nightclub. This is a completely passive business that always has a single vehicle sale mission, which is really good. Now, the upstairs in the nightclub is a legitimate, or at least semi-legitimate, business and a cover for what goes on in the nightclub basement. However, in the actual nightclub upstairs, you will make $50,000 every 48 minutes or every in-game day in GTA Online, so long as your popularity in the nightclub is almost full. Now, you can also fill the popularity in your nightclub by doing missions marked by a blue dot or a blue VIP when you walk into the nightclub. However, if you walk into the nightclub in passive mode, you will always get the blue dot, which is the kick out troublemaker mission, which pays you $10,000 and plays a 5-second cutscene of you throwing out a troublemaker, and it will give you 5 ticks of popularity, which is pretty good. Now, there are 5 different bars on the nightclub popularity thing in the bottom, and each of those bars has 4 ticks within it. So this will do a bar and a quarter of another bar, which is pretty insane. Now, you can also switch your DJ for $100,000 the first time, and then after that it goes down to 10k, but it only does 2 ticks every time you do this, so the kick out troublemaker mission is going to be your friend, and so is passive mode, at least entering into this business. Now, for the nightclub basement, you can earn a ton of extra money with this as well, but it will require you to own several businesses that we've talked about already on this list, like the Coke Lockup, the Bunker, the Lab, the CEO Cargo Warehouse or Hangar, and the Weed Farm. Once you have those businesses, you can operate this as efficiently as possible. You will have to hire some warehouse staff to accrue these goods passively for you over time, and the businesses just have to be set up. They don't even have to be running or making product or be supplied. So for example, you can just buy the Coke Lockup and that will give you access to sourcing it passively in the nightclub basement. You don't have to keep it supplied, you don't have to do anything, and your staff will still accrue goods in the nightclub basement. So keep that in mind for sure. Then you can let this stack up over time, and over the course of about 20 hours, you will get just over $1 million worth of stock, which you can then sell and make a ton of money. Now, Tony will take a 10% laundering cut, but the maximum that he will take from you is $100,000. So the more money you're selling for, over $1 million, technically the more money you are going to keep. If you want to know more about the nightclub, I do have a full guide on my channel. As a matter of fact, I have full guides for several of these businesses, and I will link those all in the description down below. So if you do want to know more about them in depth, those videos will be linked in the description down below. Now, next up, we have an honorable mention, and it is of course the salvage yard business from the Chop Shop DLC that released back in December of 2023. This is of course one of the newer businesses that have been added into GTA Online, and the salvage yard was actually a pretty good business overall, and there were 3 ways of making money with the business, 2 of them being directly linked to each other. First of all though, the main way to earn money with the Chop Shop was through the vehicle robberies. A series of essentially mini heists where the vehicles swap over every single update week, and you can steal different vehicles and then bring them down to the docks to sell them. You're basically going to have to do a mini heist kind of like the auto shop contracts, except you're going to bring a vehicle back to the chop shop and then you can choose to sell them for a profit. However, once per month during an update week, there will be a vehicle that you can steal and that you can then keep and turn into a personal vehicle with this business, which is pretty cool. These cars can be worth pretty different and varied amounts of money. The cheapest is usually around 200k and the most expensive is usually just under 400,000. So you can do 3 robberies per week, netting you about $1 million just for the robberies. However, there is also the second and third ways to make money with this business, and those are through the tow truck. Now, the tow truck with the business can be used to go and steal cars, which you can then bring back to the chop shop and salvage. Now, you will get a one-time payment for completing these of about usually $35,000 to $40,000 per car that you steal. However, with the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC in Grand Theft Auto Online, they did nerf this a little bit and they put a 2-minute cooldown between launching tow truck missions, which is just to inconvenience us a little bit more, which is kind of annoying. However, if you do bring back these cars with the tow truck and then they get scrapped, you will also get a bonus on your passive safe income that is also within the chop shop. Now, this maxes out at about $24,000 per day, which is not bad, but it is fully dependent on how many vehicles you are bringing back to the chop shop and how often you are doing that. Overall, it's a pretty interesting business, but since they nerfed it a little bit with the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, I decided to move it to be an honorable mention for this video because it's not as good as it was when it first came out, unfortunately. Of course, at number 1, the best way to make money as a solo player in Grand Theft Auto Online is by doing the Cayo Perico heist. The KO Perico house takes about an hour to set up for the average player, and you could probably get it down to even less than that once you become really good at it. Now, it has been nerfed into the ground several times over the last couple of years, making it still the highest money per hour activity that you can do in the game, but there's a big cooldown after completing it, and the amount of money that you can make is significantly decreased, roughly 30 to 35% less than you would get if you had done the heist when it first came out. So that does kind of suck. They also changed the setup cost from 25 grand to 100 grand per time that you do it, meaning that you just make less profit overall. Arguably, with all of these nerfs, the contract from the agency might actually be the better way to earn money, but I will leave that up to you guys to decide. I personally would kind of go for the agency though over the KO Perico heist and the Kasatka submarine, but that might just be me. Anyway guys, that has been it for my picks for the top 10 best ways to make money as a solo player in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you made it to the end of the video, comment a 7 down below. Let me know what you thought of my list. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, if not dislike of course. Consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new and you want to see more content like this. Comment down below and let me know if there's anything that you think I missed on this list, and maybe I'll update it the next time I do it. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.